What up, y'all? It's your boy Benji Burke back again with Benjamins in Business. This is our second session with City League Conversations. I got my boys in the house, 85 graduates. I got Charles Willis from Walnut Ridge, and I got Tony Nilly from Linden McKinley. What up, y'all?
What's going on, bro?
So we're gonna get it right into it. Will, and my first question is, who was the first person you saw when you was a ninth grader that said, man, I gotta go to work. This kid is gonna give me buckets if I don't, I mean, and it could be a couple, but who was that person?
Okay, I'll give you my answers in layers. First off, ninth grade year, 81, 82, that is the year of Gump, Daryl Delaney.
Okay,
so
Double D
both
and
of
Gump.
those guys right there. We played East. We only played East 2 times my high school career. We played in my freshman year. We played in my senior year. Freshman year, of course, I'm on JV or whatever. So, but I had heard about Delaney. I had heard about him. So, I got to see it, right? So, actually just visualizing the work that Delaney put in, it was crazy because it just appeared like it was so easy. Now keep in mind, I'm 14 years old, but the guys that he's out there playing against, they are his peers. They the same age, you know, same age, same size, whole 9 yards or whatever. And he made it look.
You guys only played East twice in your whole high school career?
Whole high school year. We only played them my freshman year, my senior year, or whatever. But Delaney was that guy, and another guy, which was Andy Gump Williams or whatever. So I had played with Gump before on the playground or whatever. So the night we played him over at Central, Gump gave us 49. Woo, a crisp 49. Like,
without a three.
No three
Without
ball.
a three, right.
Probably missed about 6 or 7 shots. We beat them 96-91, but Gump had 49 that night.
91.
And he got all the stats. 96,
but Gump put up 49 that night. So those was
your
senior guys.
Okay.
Those was the senior guys that you saw. I wasn't gonna get a chance to go against them, but you saw at the level that you had to play at in order to get on that, to get out there with them. Okay. Twofold, the guys that was juniors that would become seniors the following year, which 83 to me, the best basketball in Central Ohio. I know it's for youngsters.
83.
Yeah,
83.
Some youngsters.
So that was your
my sophomore year.
I agree with that because that's my freshman year. That's when I saw everything.
Benji, it was incredible. We talk about Tuesday, Friday, and no nights off or whatever. It was the most incredible basketball, as a 14, 15-year-old or whatever like, and able to get on the floor with them.
Right.
You know what I'm like? It was incredible. But the guys that I looked to at that time, well, one was a teammate, which was Andre Robinson.
Okay.
Andre passed away a couple years ago.
Okay.
But Andre Robinson, a guy that could just simply fill it up. You know what I mean?
I remember him.
He was
that Eastmore for a quick second.
Exactly. He was a shooter scorer, crafty as all get out. Like, he invented shots on the move. This dude can just score. But the guy, Clarence Doc Ward, just flat out, just a guy that
saw
was
him in
just
practice. So 83 was a real good year.
A guy that was just, it was problems. It was problems with this dude. Like,
right.
He wasn't athletic, was long, he was a sneaky good rebounder or whatever, but this dude could just flat out put that ball in the hole and made it look real easy. Where you could play good defense on him and you really couldn't stop him.
It was just a better shot.
Really couldn't stop
him. He was a shot maker.
Yes.
I mean, and I watched him. It's crazy because I always tell this story. I seen Doc when I was a freshman at Eastmore. Probably one of the best games I've seen. That game, Don Bell got a chance to play. Doc and Prentice, man, they was shooting from 30. And Bell was answering them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm sitting in the stands thinking I done something on JV.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not ready for that.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not ready for that.
Exactly.
Right.
See, that's how, back in our day, I started off on JV. But all these guys you're talking about, I saw them in practice all the time.
every day.
So I didn't know Reggie until high school.
Okay.
I didn't know. I've heard of him.
Yeah.
So we get there, it's at Linden, it was always 200 cats go out for the team.
Right.
So I had heard this Reggie dude, and I was kind of like, I gotta see this dude for myself. I mean, I said, man, I gotta see this dude for myself. Reggie was on JV for about 25 seconds.
Right.
He came and signed autographs, and then he was gone.
Right.
But man, I remember my sophomore year, like I said, we did that. Because people don't know, me and Boogie were the guards our sophomore year at Linden. So, Boog, whatever happened, that's a whole different topic. But that's when they did you play 2 quarters or 1 quarter varsity.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to win. And like you said, I saw them cats in practice. I was like, oh, man, I got a whole lot of work to do. And that's the thing, man. I used to see Doc, Prentice, Anthony Preston, God rest his soul, Daryl Stiff was way beyond his time. Daryl Stiff was and1 before and1.
Exactly.
I remember my sophomore year.
Bro, I was at the Coliseum watching layup line.
Everybody used to come see the layup line.
Dad, why don't he play?
Right.
And people don't realize he was just a great person. He was a heck of an athlete. Stiff played baseball, basketball, ran track, football, but he was a hell of an athlete. But he was a great person.
Okay.
He took me under, all those guys took me under the wing. But I remember my sophomore year, we playing against Toledo when they had Todd Mitchell and everything.
Yep.
So I'm just happy to be on the team,
Okay.
Because I'm going back and forth, watching these cats play. So I'm thinking, he says, Neely, get in the game. I'm thinking he's talking to my brother.
Right.
I'm over there joking around, me and Stiff.
Right.
So I go in with Stiff. I'm nervous as much because this is a big time game.
Exactly.
Toledo had a really good team.
Right.
So Stiff was just
that's
like
a tournament game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Stiff like, hey, just because I'm nervous and stuff, and like I said, I'm out there with Doc, Prentice, Anthony Preston, just all these big time dudes, and I'm just, when I got to high school, I was 5'6.5".
Right.
So Stiff said, hey, don't worry about it, we got this. He said, just pay attention. I remember I'm just out there, he come down, do this, hit me right in the face with the ball.
Right.
And I'm like, that's
He
all
said he
right,
did
that's
say
all
pay
right.
attention.
Yeah, that's what I
You know what
said. So, just those practices at Linden, they were something. There's a lot of cats could play, but at Linden, I just was amazed with the practices.
Right.
Like I said, Lamar, prettiest jump shot. I remember I thought I had a decent looking jump shot.
Nah.
I saw that cat and we didn't even have threes back then.
Everything.
And that's what that game did it for me as a freshman. But I looked at Lamar Prentice, Brian and Mike Gilchrist. They all had pretty shots.
Yes.
Don Bell, and there was one more. All of them kind of had that little. They kicked their leg out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when I saw all them, I was like, man, I ain't nowhere near.
Right.
And I thought we was doing good.
Right.
By we Barnett League. I'm up here. Man, it was tough.
When we played South, Lonnie King and Lamar.
Lonnie King, another one with the shot.
They were built just like, man, I forgot I was on the team. I'm just enjoying the game. But that was, back Prentice had the prettiest jump shot, and he made it look so easy, him and Doc. And always like Monty Ragland's game, too. I was like, okay.
Ragland
the floor general, ran the show,
absolutely.
got in your grill on defense or whatever. He was a consummate point guard.
Absolutely.
Consummate point guard. Wasn't gonna give you 15, 18 points, was going to run the team, was going to get everybody.
And there was so much talent.
Yes.
From even my freshman year, all the way till we graduated.
So that brings me my question for you. In '85, how y'all not get to the city? How did Northland win?
I go back and think about it. You don't think about it while you're actually playing.
Right.
But we could have won a city championship and a state championship because we went to the city championship my junior year. We lost against Marion Franklin and Norm Macon there. Then we go to the state championship and we lost against Youngstown Rayan our senior year.
Okay.
See, what happened, we went down from Division I to Division II, but we still had that big time schedule.
Right.
So when we got tournament time, we would just smash these cats, man. Because we were still, the city league was so strong, we played everybody. Then we
I
played
couldn't
these
believe,
Steubenvilles and these small schools. It was
Yeah.
like, you know, Reds would just have a field day, you know, because they couldn't
couldn't
you know,
do that.
Reds jumped 40 feet on his jump shot.
Right.
And
Right.
then, of course, some of them were like these smaller rural schools where they hadn't seen like,
Always wanted to know, how did they get out away from Linden on that in '85? I was like, Adam. They didn't have Kevin Smith was their big, and he was what, 6'1"? Maybe.
We didn't. The only how we would have got Northland would have been in the city. We didn't play them that year.
Okay.
You know, normally you'll play a dose of the city north or whatever.
yeah.
Which, you know, all of my years, I think we played six. We always played at least 6 schools. My senior year, Northland was the team that we didn't play. My junior year, East was the team that we didn't play or whatever. So my junior year, we played Northland at their spot and punished them. Punished them. So of course we thinking, if we get y'all, we gonna get Northland. We gonna win the city. You know what I'm saying?
We start thinking, we start looking ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know, those teams are like, what's the guy's name? And I think it was my sophomore, junior year, Beechcroft, Honorino and Brown.
Yeah.
Big set of guards, man. Big set of guards. They get overlooked,
I
but
never
they
played
were,
against
man,
them.
they were good, and they were big. You know, they were
the best team I ever played against was 1983 Beechcroft Cougars.
Right.
They were
Who was their big? Is that your boy and them?
That's Bob Chambers, Ian
Van?
Marino, Chris Alexander, Steve Brown, John Sanders. You know,
and then this year, Brad Sellers,
yeah.
or Brad.
And Brad's on that team
Yes,
that
but
year,
he
but he
didn't
didn't play that much or whatever. Bench. I don't know if y'all got Eastmore. I mean, I don't know if Eastmore played Beechcroft in '83.
I don't remember.
It was.
And we thought we had a big team.
I don't think we did. That was my sophomore year, right? Or
That
freshman?
would have been your freshman year.
Freshman year,
dude. Best team in the city now, and
they won the city that year, right?
They beat West.
They were good, man. They were those guards, man. They were.
Yeah, Steve Brown was a problem. Like
Honorino,
you know,
both of them. They were.
Steve Brown, like Monty, he ran the show, but he was going to give you anywhere between 14 to 17. He basically gave you whatever you needed on that night. Like if they played a team that that scored a little bit or whatever, he might have to score a little bit more that night. If they played a team where they were playing a slow down game or whatever, if you could slow them down, you may not even be able to slow them down. They were
big for high school.
They were
guards.
big.
I mean,
and they were athletic
6'3",
on the wing.
6'2", 6'4".
Bob jumping,
Exactly.
Zan shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, Zan, they long now.
Exactly. They were athletic on the wing, so they were going to cause problems. This is the way I always depicted that squad. I'm like, to me, I thought they were good enough that if you put like a legit 6'7", 6'8" guy on that team, they can compete against D2 college teams at that time. They were that good.
They were good.
So what did they do in the state? You remember?
End up losing in the regionals. They lost in the regionals. Yep. So they
and Rankin was on that team. Kenny.
Kenny didn't play a lot
He was on the
that team, but he was there. Like I said, Brad didn't play much or whatever. Brad Smith. You know what I'm saying? Brad Smith.
Yeah.
Right, got it.
Yeah. Brad
he was
Smith.
another freak of nature.
Exactly.
When I saw him come
Quick
out his
jumper
cocoon,
too. Right. Quick jumper too. Get off the ground real quick.
and with that hand,
right?
he'd just take off like
right.
He ain't got to touch it. He just
the freak of nature is perfect wording for Brad, because Brad was strong right. Brad wasn't a skilled
He ain't
guy.
going left.
He wasn't.
He was all right.
And if he going left, he's in his right hand.
Exactly. Strong right.
He got up quick. He shot the ball real quick.
He wasn't skilled. Like Brad. You take Brad outside of 15 feet.
Right.
Brad ain't going. He may never make that shot. But what he's gonna do, he gonna put it up. He gonna go follow it, and he might tip dunk his miss. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Brad was a monster.
My
a real monster.
My other crew, one of my other crews that was a ooh-ah moment for me was Vic Harvison and BA.
Yes.
So I
That
saw
was a big
Vic,
backcourt too.
I saw Vic in the projects. I was playing for Barnett. I was on the All-Star team. He was on the adult All-Star team. And Brad, when I mean he had bunnies, I didn't know.
Right.
Dog, he went down the lane one time and I said, and this dude is in high school?
Right.
So, I'm in the project, I ain't know.
You know, you're talking about another guy who was overlooked was that Mike Francis.
Mike Francis.
He was nice.
Yes.
Nah, he
Mike.
was
Mike.
I saw
Nah,
him. I
I
saw him
haven't.
maybe last summer. But
Oh,
he was steady, smooth.
Right.
But he gets over. He was a really good player.
Right,
And-
right.
and
Real-
like we
real
were talking about
consistent, Jay.
before, that
Yeah.
from 82 to 86, you had good teams. It wasn't like
Yeah.
you could take. I mean, like now you may get, you know. One night a week where you might, oh, this guy's
Yeah.
good, but back then all the guards were good. You couldn't just like say, oh, we got East today. We got funny part. Even before you started this platform, I used to talk to Will because we didn't take Walter Reed serious. So we over a friend of ours.
Right, right,
And I was like, man, we didn't even take Walter Reed serious. We used to smash y'all. Will said, Tone, y'all never beat us in high school. He said my high school year. I said, man, you tripping. I had to go home, look up. I said, man, Will was right.
Right.
I said, how did we not ever beat? In our senior year, they smashed us by like 19.
Right. It's so crazy too because he sat there, just like he said, he being real dismissive. Like I'm like, Tone, I did go to Ridge. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I went to Ridge. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Because back
I
then,
was
you know,
a
you
little problem,
went
know
for
what
the
I'm saying?
North. You always look for the North title. Linden, we always, you know, we didn't really pay too much attention to y'all's division. It's
Yeah.
like, we got to win this North. We win
Right.
this North. That's because to us, the North was a lot tougher.
Right. Exactly.
But I just
exactly.
laughed because we were talking, even like I said, before you started, we laughed about it because I ended up calling him the next day like, Will.
Right.
My bad, man.
Right. I'm like,
I said you were right. We
we,
never beat you guys.
We, my freshman year on JV, we beat y'all up there at y'all spot.
Right.
Y'all, our sophomore year, the varsity, they got us.
Right, we beat you then.
Yeah, and then my
but I
junior
didn't really
year,
play.
yeah, my junior year we played y'all first game of the year up in y'all spot
I
or whatever.
remember.
Got y'all in
Okay.
overtime, and then
Then the next year
we
y'all
got
smashed us.
it was our senior night. It was our
Right.
senior night, and yeah, we kind of ran through y'all.
I saw
we kind
that.
of ran through y'all.
I had to look at it a couple times like, man, this can't be right. Damn, now I got to call Will back and say, my bad.
Yeah, I saw best dunks. Some of the best dunks I saw. See Frank Morrow 3 dunks. One on East, one on Bowman at Brookhaven, and I'm trying to think of the third one. Man, Franklin, his junior year. He punched on. I mean, these and ones.
Yeah.
So
That
we
man
go to Man
Franklin,
Franklin
too. Them dudes could
the
jump.
next year. And Norm did. I caught a oop, bruh, on Frank's head. It was like.
Who's the other guy? Was that Gamble or somebody at
Yeah,
Aaron?
Tim Gamble.
Because they had they had
They
all
was
those
long.
guys.
They was
Yeah,
long.
and they
They
could
was
jump
long.
too.
They
They
was
all
long.
could jump.
Yeah.
Crenshaw,
Crenshaw,
Gamble,
yeah, right.
Macon, and then they
Right.
had who else? Oh, what about the one dude? Didn't they have a little lefty or something that was good? He was long.
Oh, you talk. Oh man, what's my man's name? Light complected guy.
Yeah.
I can't think of the guy's. I can't think of the guy's name, but I know who you're talking about. I'm gonna tell you somebody over at Marion Franklin. To me, that was kind of unsung. Maybe even got better as he got older or whatever. Grady Davis.
Yeah.
Oh man! When we played as adults, Grady was a problem, man. A real problem.
Yeah.
You know, like you know.
I ain't seen him.
Yeah, he lives down in Atlanta. Been down in Atlanta for years. You know,
Okay.
probably about 20 or so. You know. Yeah.
The one guard though that I was like, man, I ain't ready for him. I was on JV. He was a sophomore. I think he came out with y'all. Alfred Ashburn.
Yes.
He had an A game against us. Like, man, he was
And he had a
blocking.
he had a football body
yeah,
too.
he was.
Man,
he was built.
he
Yeah.
caught Frank's dunk on the glass, brought it down, went down, dropped it in. He probably had
I
like
forgot all about him, but he
Man,
was
Alfred
athletic.
Ash was
Ashburn.
nice.
Yeah.
Ash was
Because that's
nice.
another one of those teams we smashed,
Yeah,
so
you
we really never
yeah.
paid attention to it.
Well, when Centennial one year came to us, I think my sophomore year, I think they had Roger Kazee,
Kazee, yeah.
Ashburn,
Yeah.
and I think Rob White was
Rob
he
was
might have
playing.
been backing one of them up.
Right.
Rob was. I think Rob was on that squad.
Yeah, because he used to be over in our neighborhood when he was younger. I think his grandmother lived over in our
Okay.
neighborhood. So I knew Raj when we were younger or whatever. And then, you know, probably about 4 or 5 years, once again, our junior high years when we wasn't
Right,
playing or
right.
whatever, we didn't
Yeah.
keep in contact or whatever, then ran into him again once we got to
Okay.
high school. Yep.
Yeah,
Raj could put the ball in the hole. You know, Raj probably averaged about 17, 18 his senior year.
Who, Centennial?
Yep, Raj Kazee. Yep.
Well, he didn't do much because we had long Pat and
Yeah.
Chris back there. But
And I
he
think-
he was playing. They had him like the 4 or 5.
He didn't
Roger.
get off against
He
us.
did, yeah. He did.
But they had him at the 4 or 5.
Yeah, Carl
So-
Thomas got off against us. Carl had 25
Baby
over the
Jordan.
season. Yep.
But
Carl
they
got
were
over, but we
so
smashed
small.
him though.
Yeah,
Yeah, we beat him by like 25. You
And
know?
that was one of those teams on the schedule, we looked at like, oh, we got them tonight. We ain't really worry about them because they were small.
Yeah,
Like
they
I said,
didn't really
had
have any
Roger
size.
at 5.
Yeah, they didn't have
He
any
was either at 4 or
size.
5. Then they had Carl at like 4.
Yeah.
And,
So we done talked about everybody. What about Weststone? I mean, Weststone seemed like that
Yeah.
they plucked some Linden talent out of there
They
and
did.
always had some talent,
They did.
but never could get over the hump. You know what I
did.
mean?
that's
They-
because their coach played that slow down ball all the
in
time.
my
Coach
freshman
Peterson-
year, they was big.
They became-
Yeah.
They were.
When they played us, they always slowed it down. I think, my junior year, I think it was 38-39 final score. Yeah, and they drove Reds nuts.
For real?
Oh
Yeah.
man, because we scored, and they didn't care.
Right.
The score was like 4 to 5 or something at the end of the first. They didn't really care. But I tell you, Junie Grinston was probably the strongest guard I ever played.
Junie was tough.
See, I never played against him.
Junie was tough.
He was strong, super strong.
was really-
and he would body you.
Yeah,
and,
he was a tough dude. He wanted
because he was a
that
football
action.
guy
Yeah,
too.
He wanted that action.
But he
You
was
know
just
what I
so
mean?
physically strong up front. I remember taking a charge. Man, I thought my life was over.
Right. Yeah.
But he was physically strong. And
He
you
was-
just couldn't, and he really never shot jump shots, but he get to the hole. And he was, when I say strong, his upper body, because he was a football dude.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was just him and your boy Choo Choo, Everett Ross. He was the same way.
Right.
Same way.
So I was like, man, I got to guard these football dudes
Right,
all the time.
right.
Who's playing basketball now?
Right.
So,
Yeah, what I liked about Junie was like you said, he was physically strong, but he was mentally tough dude
and
too.
he would
Like,
never talk stuff. He'd just go out there and just perform.
He was the dude. He was the type of guy that if you guys were inferior as far as talent wise or even like the physical matchup, Junie gave you that. We can get these guys. You know what I'm saying? He gave you that, man. He brought that with him all the time. Like, man, we ain't backing down from these cats. We can get these dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was physically and mentally strong. Like, he was that guy.
I never went with him. Never got to
He
play
was
against him.
strong. He was, when I say strong, I can't emphasize enough how strong that dude was.
Yeah.
And he would never talk trash.
That's crazy.
He would never. He always had that straight face. Like even when he ran me over, he just looked at me, got up, went to the free throw line.
Like, what?
And I was just like, this
What about
dude.
South? What y'all do against South?
Had real good games against South. South was
They was long.
they were my senior year.
Who they at? Curtis Williams. What's the dark skinned brother, the lefty?
My man, Daryl Lewis.
Daryl Lewis.
Yeah, this was 83. Once again, we keep coming back to 83. You know what I'm saying? Like 83 was special, man. But at South in 83, they had Daryl Lewis. Daryl was averaging about 22 and a half, 23 a game. Lonnie Keene. Rodney Palmer, Palm was the you put him wherever you want to, put him. He can play a little bit of point, can play some 2, can play some 3 or whatever. You can put Palm wherever. Like he was, he was a versatile guy or whatever. You had Kim Western at the guard spot or whatever.
Kim, yeah.
They
Broomfield.
had Ernie
Broomfield,
Broomfield. They had work over there. For whatever reason, I don't think that South ever really got out of their talent what they should have. You know what I mean?
And when their coaching
teams in the South, we just
but their coach was
so-
kind of like they look at him almost like they liked him, like he was Ricketts, right?
Rick Ricketts,
Dick
yep.
Ricketts, right?
Like
Yep,
he was a
they-
legend, kind of.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna be honest. I can't give you a reason why South wasn't a little better as far as record wise or whatever within the city. I really can't tell you why they wasn't. 85, my senior year, they rolled out like you guys were talking about on the last episode about the 86 team, how long they were. Like 85, you had Stretch, 6'6", 6'7". You had Randy Jones. You had Ben Fort, Curtis Williams. They had a huge front line.
Right.
And
then
shit,
you had
Donnell ain't little.
right Donnell,
Andre Palmer wasn't little.
exactly. Dre,
Tony Q.
exactly. They had a lot.
Yeah,
of,
and they were guards too.
They
Q
had a
played
lot of
guard,
size
too,
over
right.
there. And when you look at Dre and Donnell, they both 6'1", 6'2", and that was unheard of from guards at
Right,
that time.
right.
You know what I mean? So and they
And they were
together.
strong. They was both football players.
And
Right.
they played together all the way up. You know what I'm saying? Like all the way up
And even
through
back
whatever.
then too, sometimes their season would still be going on football wise.
Right.
So they would only get them like in the middle of the season or playoffs towards the
Yeah.
So they weren't in basketball condition yet. So a lot of times, and that was one of those teams we just really didn't. It was like, okay, we got South. Okay, so we just always
see,
thought.
those are our division teams.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So
we
yeah,
knew
we
more
knew
about
it.
them.
In '85, when we had, do you think the North was tough?
Do I think the North was tough?
Yeah.
I think it was.
And that's what I think. I just thought the North was way
Yeah.
tougher, and that's why we didn't really, because back then, like I said, it was all
Okay,
about
you got
winning
back
the
up, bro.
North
You got
Division.
back up. You said way tougher. You talking about the South?
Right. Yeah, like,
They trying to slick that in there. Yeah.
I mean, but I understand.
I'm just saying,
But I
the North
understand-
No,
was
it was.
tough.
But I
mean, it was-
understand
it
what
was-
you're saying because those are the teams that you played against all the time or whatever.
Right, and
then
that's
when
why
you-
we really concentrated
and then when
on
you-
them, because you wanted
Right.
to win that North to
But-
go to the city.
Right, but
Yeah.
then when you take the South or whatever, well, you guys had an advantage anyway up north because it was 8 teams. We only had
Right,
7 teams out south because they had shut Central down. Afro-Centric wasn't in play at the time or whatever,
Yeah.
so it was only 7 teams there or whatever. But
Okay.
Our senior year, 85 or whatever, it was us, Eastmore, West. Those were the three top teams in the South Division. Up north, I would say the top teams was
It
Linden,
was Linden,
Brookhaven.
Mifflin was decent.
Wait a minute. In '85,
Yeah.
85, we gave it to Brookhaven. They weren't that.
They wasn't as talented.
We played them
They-
on coaxial
They beat us.
because they had Towns.
Right,
Towns,
Towns,
main
Doc,
scorer.
Towns, Doc, and
I didn't think Doc was on the team when we
no,
played.
Doc was there. Doc was there.
What year was
Thornton
that?
had a
85?
Thornton had a big game against us, and I didn't know AT at the time. I never knew who AT was, whatever. But
I just remember he
had
would
a good
wear,
game
he would
against
wear
us.
like
He had
700 knee pads,
he
and
had
elbow
22
pads,
against
and
us.
wristbands.
He
was a young. I think he was a
had
sophomore.
good games against us both times.
Yeah.
His sophomore and junior year. No, junior year for sure. Sophomore, I don't know, but in his senior year, obviously he balled out. He was first team all state.
Right.
So
The 85 against Brookhaven. Brookhaven wasn't as talented as
86.
the year before
The year,
or
no,
the year after.
before, you remember
know
the
what I
year
mean?
before they had Bowman.
Right,
So
exactly.
that, they had Kaufman and they had what's his name?
Tucker.
Tucker.
You know,
but what's
Terry
his-
Miller.
Terry Miller.
I'm gonna tell you, who had a
But
good
also
game
who
against-
never I can't man. Who stayed ineligible all the time, but was just cold.
Oh, Wayne.
Wayne Marshall.
Wayne
Wayne Marshall.
Yeah.
Now he was a problem, but he didn't play a lot because he was never at school. But
Right,
he
right,
was,
exactly.
He was,
I never played against Wayne in high
He's a
school.
problem. He's a problem.
I don't
He was
remember playing
smooth.
against
Yes.
Farm
Yes.
in high school.
Wayne was-
Farm
Wayne
couldn't
I played
play. I
once.
don't remember
Yeah, I
playing
forgot
against
about
Farm
Farmer
or whatever.
was
Like
in
I
it.
said, the talent level at Brookhaven was there. 85, I don't
Yes.
think they was as talented or whatever, but
Well,
they
you
got
take
us.
off a McDonald's All-American too.
Well,
with
yeah,
Bowman.
yeah,
That
true.
takes a whole lot of work.
True.
So,
In '84,
in '84,
West was 8-0, and Brookhaven knocked them off.
Right. Beat them at their spot.
Beat them
Right.
at their spot. We come to Brookhaven that Tuesday, and I know they overlooked us.
Right.
But what they did was they had Terry Miller and Tuck trapping me. But I would get through the trap, and now I had an advantage, and I was just throwing it up to Frank, and they never took it off. It was almost like if they would have took it off, they probably would have beat us.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they let me get in the paint, and I was just like, and we were shooting layups. And Frank was just killing it. I was just like, man, if they probably took
that's
that
so
press
funny.
off, we probably wouldn't be able to score.
Right.
Honestly.
That's fun. I think it was your sophomore year, junior. They did the same thing. Y'all did the same thing to Reggie. Y'all threw like boxing 1, triangle 1, 2. Well, I always had my best games against that.
Yeah.
And they didn't take it off, you know. And
Yeah.
Reg, I'm getting open shots, and luckily I was making them. But they would throw that at Reg.
Yeah.
And Reg had to deal with so much stuff.
Right.
Every game.
Two dribbles to the left, pull up.
Right.
Man.
That's what,
You
that
had-
was his deal.
especially when we played those rural schools, man, they would try all kinds of defenses on Reggie. I mean, they were playing dirty. They played 3 guys on him. You know, they try to get in his head mentally.
Right.
They elbow him, all kinds of stuff. But Reg he gave us so much confidence.
So do you think just high school, was Reggie a better high school player than Doc Ward?
Whoo. Whoo. I think if Doc was featured like Reggie was, because you got to remember they had a hell of a team. Because Prentice was great.
I know.
Doc was great, but Doc he got his own stuff. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff ran for Doc. Everything we did was run
ran
through
for
Reg. So I mean, and they both could shoot, but as far as like Doc could handle the ball better, but Reg was by far the superior shooter. But I just think if he was featured like Reggie was, I mean, I'm not gonna say they're both phenomenal players.
Yeah, I
great
think,
players.
So I seen.
But
Doc,
of course, I'm biased because I played more with Reggie.
Right.
I seen Doc as a freshman. I was a freshman, and that was my ooh-ah game.
Right.
I go to JUCO after high school.
St. Louis.
Doc had already left St. Louis. I think University of Missouri St. Louis. I think he went to Idaho. Then
Right.
he came back to JUCO.
Right.
Remember he
So
signed with
I played
Idaho.
against him my freshman year in junior college. Mind you, he come to our dorm before the game, do what he do.
Right,
I
right,
told my dude, man, don't mess with him.
Right.
He was like, oh, it's cool. And Mike was an All-American. He was
Right.
my backcourt partner. I said, Doc gave us 43 my freshman year. So then we go to Northern. He was at Northern, Oklahoma. We
Right.
go to Northern. Same. I said, Mike, come on, bro, we need this game. They in their little stuff. Doc gave us, I think, 40. It was either 47 or 48. and it was like after the game, like everybody like, man, how does he? I said, bro, that's a special talent.
Right.
Man.
When you're not fast, you're not quick, but you crafty enough to get your shot at any time you want it.
Anytime.
And it was smooth too. It was smooth.
Oh, but no-
and I,
with no
just
spin.
like you said,
Knuckleball. Yep.
like you said, do what he do. Now that was in high school, because
Right, I know.
you still, I'm just gonna say not 100%,
Right.
but you killing cats like
Right.
that. I mean,
the stories is legendary.
Oh, my
And I know you know.
And I was there.
You know the stories.
and
You
it
know
was
what I'm
just
saying?
because I used to always say, man, we killing cats like this. What would happen? I mean,
Man, so I watched him through high school and college. So that wasn't done. That was JUCO. I went on to Northwest Missouri State, right? Doc ends up back at UMSL. I'm in my 5th year. I'm not playing no more. I'm just trying to graduate.
Right.
I go to a game. They got Doc. Coach, it was my old coach. I played with him the year before. He was like, hey, man, this Ward kid. I said, just know he's going to have 35 plus, and that's okay. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right,
He was like,
right.
Benj, 35, come on, man. Dog, he was in the 40s.
Right.
And he was running down court like,
Right.
Benj, these little kids don't know me. You know what I mean?
Right.
and that's
Doc
the
was
fun,
special, bro.
because back then, Jim, our coach, tried to put him on the block. Doc was not playing. He back then you had big man drills and guard drills, and they would always separate them, but they would always try to put Doc on the block. He'd say, get on the block. And Doc would tell him, I'm not playing on the block. I'm playing
Right,
outside.
right.
I remember I had just got moved up to Vark. My first practice, he's trying to put Doc on the block. Doc was like, I'm not. This was on a Thursday. We had a game Friday. He was like, Jim, I'm not going on the block. If you don't want to get on the block, get out of here. Doc went over, started putting his stuff on. What time we play tomorrow?
Right.
Came out the next day and killed. That was I think it was at the Coliseum when he just left his jersey or got the wrong jersey or something.
But that was
I heard
he's
stories,
he
man, like-
that
But those,
what
man,
he
those
can
practices, when I tell you, just like you said, when you realize, oh, I ain't ready for this. When I would see them cats in practice, I'm like, man, I ain't ready for this, man. These dudes are good. I
do.
mean,
Special talent though.
I mean,
man.
when I say Lamar was so underrated, I mean, of course, the people in the city know
Yeah.
it. But as far as, I mean, you got to remember, they ain't have threes back then. I mean, him, Reg, Doc, they would have these just shooting, who could shoot the deep. And this is in games. We played at Linden, a little cracker box. They come
They
across
had me
half
shooting
court.
deep.
Right. You come across half court. And the prettiest jump shot,
Yeah.
I mean, that's when I was like, man, I got a lot of work to do.
What you do against East?
First game I was sick. I had the flu.
Okay.
But
Is that going to be the same story that Whitlow tell?
well, I'll show you a story. I mean, we beat East then all
Did
the time.
y'all?
They moved.
Okay.
I got sick. They moved my brother and Reggie to the point, and they end up we end up beating them. I think that was my senior year. My junior year we beat them.
Because in
Beat 'em too.
'85 they was decent, right? East. They
Yeah.
had Kaz.
Yeah.
Tuck was Tuck still around?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he played against when you were talking earlier about a dunk. Now
Yeah.
Linden was always just rowdy.
Right.
He dunked.
That's
and
what
Linden-
Witt told me.
Oh my God, it got our crowd quiet. I mean, but Tuck was a mean dude.
Yeah, he was.
He was
super.
I mean, he was
super
just a
duper
mean,
athletic,
and a
strong.
lot of dudes. I wasn't intimidated by none of them cats. But that dude, man, he get out there. Raymond always talk about I shot him elbows. We get out jump ball. You know how you at the jump ball circle and you trying and he
Tuck
just
was
look
a
at me.
physical
No,
yeah,
he was
a
but
physical
when
presence.
he dunked on my brother, and it was so loud. It sounded like thunder.
Yeah.
And our whole crowd just like, just got quiet. He was, then we played him again. I think he was, whatever, he wasn't there. So.
Yeah, I just remember Will, and you probably remember this at 6 foot and under tournament.
Right.
Remember I was messing with him at the table?
Right.
Raymond like, man, leave that
when
dude
you had the
alone.
courage to mess with him a little
Well,
bit.
even you think about back then at the Broad Street League Church, you know, when we were little cats, 10, 11, 12 years old, Chuck pulling up in a motorcycle.
Right.
You know, I'm
Chuck
like,
was a different dude, man.
Did y'all ever play against, you remember the team Franklin Village?
yes.
So they had a dude named Harrison on their team. Probably about 6'1".
He was good. I remember him.
Oh,
yeah.
and he had something wrong. Like it was like his retina was always red,
Right.
something. But man, he was legit. And I was just like, wherever this kid go, because Franklin Village they ain't have home. obviously.
Right.
I'm like wherever this kid go, he gonna help that team right away. But I never.
And that Broad Street League, especially the outdoor leagues, it was so underrated, man. But they had, you never played over there?
Never.
They had so many teams, man. And it was talent, because then it went from there. Then you could play. When that session was over, you played out at the boys club. The boys club had a real strong. And then the PAL League, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was, they have all these AAU teams. Well, that was our AAU stuff
yeah,
back
right.
then.
That was our age.
Right.
Yeah. Even the PAL was tough.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you look at those teams. I mean, they were super teams.
Right.
Because now you mixing in Scott Cheddar and
Right.
and Haddock
Right.
and Eli. You
Right.
know what I mean? You mixing those guys in. So
So you remember we played him at Walnut Ridge. We had a preview against
Yeah.
Worley.
And
that was
85, yep.
and that was Eli, and everybody came out. The previews back then were 2 quarters.
Yeah.
So it was packed. I think that preview because it was Reggie against Eli. Now it was another cat who was just way before his time.
Right, exactly.
And it was a good game. It was 2 quarters, of course, and they were going back and forth, man. Eli was.
I got Eli, probably one of my top point guards to ever come out the city.
He was so smooth.
How did the
too.
game end?
I'm sure you're gonna tell. I'm sure you.
What happened? Wait, is this a preview game or
Preview.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's the only
preview.
time we ever played them.
Right.
Of course,
Yeah.
they had Jerry, Haddock,
a cat named Justin Jones? or
Justin
something like
Jones.
that?
Yeah, we tried to get him. What happened is that we played in a tri-scrimmage the weekend before against, it was us, Lancaster, and Delaware. Down at Lancaster,
Yeah.
we played down there Saturday morning, whatever. I ended up getting injured. Blocked Bo Reed's shot, came down on his foot, right? Turned my ankle, so I don't play. They dominated us, right? Delaware
they had
and Lancaster, they smashed us, right? So our preview is that coming Friday. So Tuesday, Bowen asked us, who do y'all want? So we like, well, shit, we know we didn't get to play Worley. We want Worley, right? So we saying Worley. So the next day he comes in and says, well, Worley and Linden is contracted. Y'all got Lancaster. And I know we probably could have gotten Worley, but since Lancaster just pounded us out the week before or whatever, Bowen sets it up so we get Lancaster, right? So Lancaster come in our building or whatever. Like I'm like, we owe these cats. Like, so crazy story. I tell Whitlow, before the game, I said, Whit, if I hit my first shot, I'm going for 30. He was like, Willis, we only playing 2 quarters. I said, if I hit my first shot,
That's what I was gonna ask you
I'm going for 30. Right? So, jump ball, they get the ball down to Scott Ebrecht. They big guy, right? So in the preview, right, he killing us with the same thing, right? He's shooting a hook over his left shoulder, right? So Rivers is guarding me. I'm help defense, right? So he gets his shoulder in the lane. I tell Rib, let him go. He shoot it, I block it, right? So when I block it, as soon as I hit the ground, I'm gone. Tom got the ball out, right? I'm yelling, trail. He pitches it back to me. I let it go from about 25. Whitlow is right here. I clap it, right? I shoot Whitlow 3-0. You know what I'm saying? So we end up beating them. We end up beating them by about 19 or 20. The whole night was electric though. Their game against Worley, down to the last play. I'll let you tell me what happened.
I'm gonna let you.
No, well, anyway,
I don't want to misinterpret. I know you know.
It's a close. I mean, like I said, they going back and forth or whatever. Eli makes a play late in the game or whatever. Hard push on the right hand side of the floor. He got Doc rolling on his right, to his right. Eli goes behind the back, to his left. He kicks it back to Doc. Doc lays it in with about 2 seconds to go. They beat him 31-30. You know what I'm saying? But it was high-level basketball, dog. High-level basketball.
So and see, and we talked about it on the last show, City League show. City League will never get back to that competitive because it's too many.
And they're closing too many schools.
It's too many schools. You know what I mean? So
like
you look at King.
Down.
You know what I mean? He's at Northland. I ain't saying he ain't with nobody, but I mean, he's not going to have a chance to have 6'7", 6'8", 6'5".
And even when I saw him play this year, he was by far the best kid on the team. But they had that little guard. He was kind of deferring to him because that number 22. Yeah, and I could tell. But
towards the end, he started like doing his thing.
Because my boy told me, he said, man, you got to see this kid over at Northland. He can shoot left or right hand. I'm just thinking, well, he can make a left hand layup.
Around the basket. Yeah.
So I'm watching him in layups. So he go down, shoot a right hand. This is 3. He shoot a 3 with his right hand. Come down the next time, shoot a 3 with his left hand. So I'm still like, maybe I didn't pay attention. Maybe let me. So I kind of set up in the seat, like, let me watch this cat. During the game, he just left, and it's no difference. He still got the nice form.
Everything.
He just
Kyrie just retweeted that.
Yeah, I saw
you see that?
I saw that.
That kid is legit. But like you said, he's not going to have much there because even his team was
supposed
small.
to this year. There was 3 kids supposed to come in from Vegas. Junie Mobley was supposed to come in, and I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But I know him. He got the mentality. Like he texts me. No, matter of fact, his coach, his middle school coach.
Oh, you can tell whoever coaching is.
His middle school coach called me and said, "Ben, somebody want to speak to you." This was last week. I'm like, "What's up?" I was like, he said, "Come to the game. I'm him. I'm going at your son."
Right.
Like that. I said, okay, I ain't go, but he had 15 and he shot great.
Yeah,
like he don't look like a sophomore.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so his mentality is there. And the first time I saw him, I went to go see him. He didn't play, but I seen coach from OU there. I said, offer him right now. He was like, why you say that? I said, you already made one mistake when you was at Ohio State.
Right.
I'm telling you. And they offered him, and then I think Michigan about to right now.
Oh yeah.
So he gonna be special, man. Because the thing people don't even
and
know,
he's mentally tough already.
He don't even want to score.
With the game I went to,
he wants to do this.
Right.
If he, you know what I mean. But he's kind of forced to.
Because they don't have much.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing too, he's so mentally strong because the game I went to see him play against was Beechcroft. They couldn't stop him, so they send this kid in, kind of like a big football player, and the kid is just playing him dirty. He's picking him up full court. And he doesn't even have the ball. The kid bumping him, tripping, just doing all kinds of dirties. He never got mad. He just killed him. It was pissing him off more where he got the ball. He just went to work. Yeah. But I was telling my boy, I was like, that dude is me. I said, he's mentally strong already. They do all this little dirty stuff to him.
Yeah.
And he, because they were trying to get him out the game.
Yeah.
And he just played his game, didn't get mad or anything, came out there, shot with his left, shot with his right, just started killing them. But I was like, that kid is going to be all right. And I thought about you. I said, I know Ben's probably saying, Michigan, y'all better get up here and get this cat.
But I did that early, man, because like I told, I'm cool with the assistant coach, really. I said, man, you got to develop your relationship with him now.
Right. Exactly.
I said, because you might be a head coach at Seton Hall, but you got a relationship with this kid.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so.
And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's a relationship,
Yeah. And so.
he can, I don't know how tall you think he's going to be. Because I don't know anything about him.
Short. I've never met his dad yet. But if he can just get to 6'1",
because he can jump. Because he got a nice dunk in the game. I was like,
he attacks the basket from what I've seen.
And he works like every chance he get. If he can get with Trey at 4 in the morning, he did. And I'm like, okay.
And you can tell he loves his teammates too, because like I said, he could have easily took over the game, which I wish he would have done. But he was just steady deferring.
Bro, the city championship, he got fouled. I think they were down 1 with like maybe 5 seconds. He shot 2 left-hand free throws.
Right.
Now you can't say it's left-hand because you don't know.
Because he'll go up there the next time shoot with his right hand.
I was told that he is left-handed, that can shoot with his right. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, he shot the left hand, and what's so crazy is, let me tell you why I know his confidence is out the world. He shot the free throw, hit the first one. It hit, boom, 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 hit the backboard, went in. He walked off, went over to the crowd, was like, he got to make the second one to win.
Right.
He like, I can't hear you. You know what I mean?
Already, before you take the shot.
That's how confident.
Right.
And so to me, that just puts him ahead of
Right.
a lot of the players that even might have talent.
Right.
Like he ain't
Confidence-
scared.
confidence
he ain't,
is everything.
You know, and I tried to get him with all of how Red had it all set up, fell through at the end. He's playing with Team United, but I just think it's a mistake. And I'm not dissing Team United. I think he just needs to he needs to play with high-level D1s.
Right.
Not saying they don't have them, but I know all Ohio
does. And they play against that competition too.
and he needs to be on the EYDL circuit.
Right.
So that Nike circuit, those tournaments, if y'all ever get a chance to go to one, it's unbelievable. And you won't miss another one. That's how it is.
Right.
Like you would go back to Atlanta or wherever. And he just needs that because not only is he going to play against the best, he playing with some of the best.
Exactly, which matters.
And I mean, what does that look like for him?
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Where he doesn't have to score, but he can. You know?
Right, where you
And it's
go
good
out
to
and
see
play.
those kids come up. I mean, especially if Trey gets to work with him, you can't replace stuff
Man,
like that.
yeah.
That's you're getting that valuable
work
lesson
they
from
get
somebody
to,
who's
yeah.
been there and who's there now. So.
Yeah. So I mean, and Junie didn't turn into, you know what I mean? He turned into committed to Ohio State, shooter, crafty, not fast, but crafty enough to get his shot off. So I think that's going to be different. He got one more year of high school, so I would have loved for him to be at Northland with him. Them two at the backcourt.
Exactly. I got you. Yeah, that's a problem.
But
So did Northland lose a lot of kids this year, or they have a lot of seniors on the team? Because I don't.
A couple.
Yeah, I don't really
I
follow.
really
like
don't know.
Yeah.
Tyhan just, you know what I mean, he's trying to rebuild the program.
Just trying. Yep.
And then trying to get, I mean, he got one piece. And he didn't know, I always tell him, he didn't even know King. King was playing on I think a Wednesday, playing against so y'all heard about Woodward Park's big team. They got a big boy like 6'10", 270.
Yeah, big guy.
6'10",
Like
270.
Yeah.
He might be 300. And then he got a wing that was athletic, 6'3", dunking everything. So I text Tyhan, you got to get to this game today. This because my boy is his coach. I said, this point guard, you got to get him to Norfolk. I mean, it's unparalleled. You got to get, this is the one.
Right.
And he was like, all right. So he went, and his mom said he ain't even say nothing to us. I had to go to him. I was like, but she went to him.
Right.
Relationship started, and Tyhan, what he does with the kids, and Kingdom, he ended up going to Norfolk.
Right.
But I think he was on his way to Centennial.
Wow.
Yeah. So
He's
on his-
definitely a talent, though.
he's good, man. He's good. He makes the right plays. He can score. And again, he's double threat with these hands. They should have beat Reynoldsburg in the tournament last year and dropped it at the end. And what happened was they was up. Man, they was up like 6 with like 30 seconds. But they kept chipping away. So now they up maybe 1 with like 10 seconds. But they ran a trap at him. He did the right thing, pass it to the senior.
Right.
They fouled the senior. Senior missed the 1-on-1,
Yeah.
which I'm saying right there, if he probably was a junior, he might just go ahead and get fired.
Right, keep it. Right.
See, that's what I saw when
Exactly.
he was deferring too much, but it was almost like he didn't want to be the featured player because he was respecting the seniors around him. But he was
And
by
he's a
far the
freshman,
best player.
man.
Yeah,
he's a freshman. I think,
but he was
I
by
think
far
even
the best
now,
player.
yeah, I think even now as a sophomore, he don't pass that.
Right.
Like he makes sure he gets fouled.
Right.
But he made the right play though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right.
And you can't never get mad at a guy for making the right play. That's what that's what we do as basketball players. We try to make the right play. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pose a question. I'm gonna pose a question to y'all guards. Give me your top 5 guards that you played against in the city. We don't want to hear about Gary Grant. We
that's what I was gonna say first.
We already know about it. We don't want to hear about Gary. Give me your top 5 guards
man,
from 83 from 83 to 85 from your varsity time, from 83 to 85. Give me your top 5 guards, whether they was guys that caused you problems on defense or guys that you did not have an answer for when they had the
Well, I
ball.
really wasn't known for defense anyway, so a lot of dudes caused me problems.
Okay, all right, okay. Well,
But I think Ray Moore was underrated. Like I said, Junie Grinston. Who else? Like I said, Mike Francis was good.
Okay.
Benj was even, he was a year under. He came out in '86, right? He's even Pitt. They had a, Choo Choo was something else, but he wasn't known as a scorer. They had the players around him.
Right.
But every week it was somebody, man. See who else.
Yeah, I see. I would have to go through my, through
Yeah,
all
I
the
got it.
schools, but
Right, that's
I'm
what I'm
gonna
trying-
say Bradley.
It's off the top. Right.
So
I forgot
James
James
Bradley is
Yes.
definitely one. Like James Bradley, like I tell this quick story. Every time we played Bradley, I'd be like, "Damn, I know I held him to about 11.
Right.
Man, I look in the paper the next morning, 27.
That was how
20,
Alvin
and I
Bird
said,
was.
Man, they get, but AB,
like
AB,
Bird.
yeah, AB was a
Bird,
problem.
he couldn't jump.
Right.
He was up, but you look up, you think he had about 12. He got 29, and they got
you
40.
But you got to realize, AB scored in bunches.
Yes.
like he'll score like
He did the
9
dirty
straight.
work. He did because
Yeah.
Alvin never, like you said about he never took a 15-footer. He got all the garbage points.
Yep.
And you look up, like I said, he'd have 30 easily.
AB was scoring bunches. But I say Bradley, Tony Hilton made me be on my P's and Q's. You know what I mean? I couldn't play with the ball.
Right. You couldn't relax. Right.
He was a
and we talking
defensive
city
nightmare,
league,
too.
or we just talking
Just city
in the
league.
City league. So Tony Hilton, Ray Moore, of course, Witt.
Whitlow, how'd I leave
Witt
Whitlow?
was another
Yeah.
one. Witt, you couldn't play around with Witt.
Right.
He gonna take it.
And smile at you.
And say some little slick stuff, Witt. Still saying it.
Right.
I think them probably the ones that really that got me. But I do like I didn't play against him though. Vic, I wanted to play against Vic Harvison because
yeah.
he was a little different.
Right.
man. Vic was different.
And even the guy, wasn't there Adam Porter at Norfolk?
yeah,
he
right.
was something else
Right.
too.
And he didn't even kill us in the city. It was Kurt Helfand,
Yeah.
his partner.
Yeah.
I was just like, but it was a slow down game. I think we
Exactly.
lost 39 to
It was
43.
it was a
And we was
low-scoring
pressing.
game.
I got the tape. I just watched it. We was pressing. I think we was up like 7-8 with 3 minutes left.
For real?
He took
Right.
the press off, and they just kind of milked us.
Wow.
And Tucker, James Tucker, when he did play at East, he was
James Tucker.
oh man,
Yeah.
because it was like,
He stood on my
Reg would
toes,
say,
bro.
who you want, Tucker, Whitlow? I was like, come on.
Right.
Look at Tucker. Tucker built like a
Right.
line,
Right.
linebacker.
A linebacker, right. Not
I
a
said,
safety, a
I said,
linebacker.
Whit is hard, but I'm gonna take Whit, but you can have Tucker. You know?
Tuck did push-ups in between his free throws.
Right. He
And
built
just
like
he
a
was,
linebacker.
he was a mean dude, man.
He was a physical
he did.
What
presence.
about Leo Lane?
Man,
Leo was my guy.
Leo, one of the most.
He's another
gifted
and one
dudes.
dude.
One of the
Didn't
most-
take it serious though.
Didn't like it's a bunch of cats that I ended up hooping with when we got older or whatever. They used to trip off of me because I used to go so hard at Leo. They were like, man, we'll be tripping on one. I'm like, man, this dude, his ability is crazy.
get to the
he
hole.
just never took it serious. Like Leo will do some real slick stuff, some next level stuff, get to the cup and blow the layup and laugh about it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
no, dude.
And even when we were young,
it's
me and
funny.
Leo played together at the boys club.
Yeah,
we used to
yeah.
play against. Same thing. He was A&1 before A&1.
Man, Leo was
Get
special,
to the cup,
man.
get to the cup, miss, start laughing.
Mr. Layup and laugh.
He
I'm
always
like,
laughed.
Man, this ain't like Leo. Nah, man. Those 2 points is they gonna be important at
They
some
gonna
point.
matter.
You know what
Right.
I mean?
They gonna matter.
But yeah, Leo was tough.
Yeah.
Even though Leo never really got his just due in high school,
Yeah.
the fact of the matter that all of you cats know how good Leo
Right.
was or whatever, that that means something to me because Leo like my little brother. And
Right.
And I hate that he didn't get a chance to go his senior year. Now it was self-induced or whatever,
Right.
but
See, he never really played against us in high school. He didn't because he had Ian and
Right.
Tommy.
Right.
So
but yeah, Leo. I thought Leo was real nice and whatever.
Yeah.
Wish that he would have
Yeah.
had gotten a chance to play or whatever, but it didn't happen for him or whatever. But yeah, as far as on my side, playing against wing guys or whatever, the wing guys that was really tough for me, whether it was guys that defended, your brother.
Right.
Your brother was
Yeah.
Fonz
He
Fonz
was-
wore you like a cheap suit. He was on you. And you
he was a dog.
Right, you really couldn't get rid of him, like fakes, handles, and all of that stuff or whatever.
he
Even
was
if you was
aggressive,
able,
too. He was
exactly.
aggressive as heck.
Even if you was able to get rid of him or whatever, he was athletic enough that he still could get back to challenge your shot or whatever. Like
Right.
he was
long.
wiry, strong. Wasn't like physically like that, but you really couldn't get rid of him. So I give Fonz his due. Randy Towns. Randy Towns was
was-
another dude that guarded really, really well. You know.
What about CP?
Man, Prater, come on now. You know what I mean? Prater was an animal. You know what I mean?
See, and I didn't appreciate. I guess I didn't really know how good until I went to JUCO, his same JUCO.
Right.
And then I started watching his videos, and then I started seeing. Then when he went to Ole Miss, I was just like, he just was always a worker.
Always,
Right.
always. See,
like
you know,
100 miles an hour.
Hit
You
to
know what I
me,
mean?
I put Prater and Brad Smith in the same category as far as they wasn't the most skilled guys. Now, of course, Prater could shoot the ball better than Brad or whatever, but they wasn't the most skilled dudes. But you was not ever gonna outwork those guys. Those guys was going. They was gonna put so much pressure on you to try to stop them from doing what they do. Brad Smith, Prater, offensive rebounds, like, you know, they gonna put pressure on you to
No doubt.
stop. You know, they gonna bend your back up. They gonna bend your back up. They coming for you. Sean Scott. Sean Scott, another guy that
Yeah,
wasn't
we ain't
the
even
most,
talk about Mifflin.
Man, he
You know
wasn't
what I
the
mean?
most athletic
Because,
dude.
another big guard was Kip Lomax.
Yeah, exactly.
He was I forgot to mention him, but he was hard. He picked you up full court.
Yeah.
Exactly. Long.
And he was long.
Long.
You know.
With Sean get to his spot, in his spot 15 and down, it wasn't nothing you can do about it. Wasn't nothing you can do about it. Boo Kaysen, like
Boo.
between
He was a
15
ooh-ah moment for
Right.
me, but it was at Powell League.
Exactly.
Like I seen him
Right.
shooting at half court,
Right,
like
right.
playing around, flicking.
And we were just talking about that too. Our whole, when we played West, it was always Raymore. And me and Reg both said, we need to worry about Kaysen
Right.
too. So because we never designed anything for Raymore, but
Yeah.
he was
But
like,
still, yeah.
Tony, you need to get up on Raymore. Boo killing us.
Right.
Boo, he had that pretty jump shot
Right.
too. You look up.
Right.
And they had they had big Portis, and Portis.
Tim
we-
Bray.
Yeah, Tim Bray. But we had Paul Copeland, big boy, shoemate.
Yeah.
So, and he was just as big as, because
Yeah.
shoemate would bully people,
Yeah, yeah.
like, boom, boom.
Yeah.
He couldn't do that to Portis because Portis
And
was
they-
a football
and
dude
they had
too.
some history too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They had some history.
He's the only person I say was like could neutralize
Right,
Shoe,
right.
because Shoe was just, Shoe was wide. He wasn't tall, but he was a hell of a post player.
Right, right.
But playing against old boy, because I used to mess with him. He get mad at me. I said, man, you letting Portis do it? Man, what you talking about? I
Listen.
said, man, you bully everybody else. I said, you ain't bullying Portis.
It's crazy because when we played y'all first game of the year, our junior year, West didn't play that night. Portis, Bray, and Eric Hudson was at the game that night. And Portis was going at me because I wasn't having a good game against y'all because of his beef with Shoe. Exactly. Yep.
Oh,
yep.
man.
So I'm gonna tell you somebody else to me that's unsung. Don't ever get the credit that he deserved or whatever, but was
Chris Wall.
Chris was
Wall,
good.
my boy.
Mims Gatewood.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Mims
Yes.
Gatewood.
Mims played with us too in Powell. He was
Gate
good.
was
Yeah.
Gate was kind of like a Rodney Palmer. You could plug him anywhere. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And Mims did his deal.
Him
or
and
whatever.
Eric Hudson.
Yep.
I remember
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
so,
Mims was he was a two-way player too.
Exactly.
He would guard you.
exactly
full court.
would guard you. Would
Yeah.
guard you. Like, his junior year, like we didn't know anything about Gate. Of course,
Right,
we knew
right.
Yeah.
Portis, Boo, Ray, Ray,
Madison
and
back then.
we
Mark
knew those.
Madison was a
we
big
didn't
time
know
scorer.
we didn't know Gate or whatever. Like when we played West, my junior year, the game was so hyped. My sister talked the game up. She had got kicked out of school, out of Ridge, so she ended up over at West. And she talking stuff to those cats all the time. So the game actually went from just a regular Friday night game to the game is so pumped. Listen, me and Boo and Portis played on the same summer league team that summer leading into that year.
Yeah.
My sister talked so much stuff, hyped those cats so much that at the jump ball circle, Boo didn't even speak to me.
That's crazy.
Didn't shake my hand, didn't do nothing. Because my sister had hyped it
Right.
that much. But listen, when I tell you the game was hyped, they ended up getting us 78-73. And they jump out on us at the end of the first quarter. They up 26-9. We chased them down in the second quarter. My big, Todd Spence, had 20 in the second quarter. We go in at halftime down 1. And we just back and forth. I foul out probably about a minute and a half to go in the game down 1 or whatever. And but man, the game was so hyped. my cats wasn't hollering at me. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy.
But that's how it was, though.
But
me, I wouldn't mess with Ray. I wouldn't mess with Ray, but right after the game, we at Wheatlands.
Right.
On campus together. But and then I hear Tony in the background.
Right.
Cussing me out.
After that game, my brother
Tony was crazy.
My brother was so, hyped about Gate. He was like, man, where did that guy come from? I'm like, Ray, I don't know. I didn't know Gatewood.
I didn't know about it either because they never said, said something
solid.
about Bray. They said Bray. First they said my junior year was Madison. He was leading the league or leading the city in scoring or whatever. We said we got to watch Madison and Ray more. And then we said we got to watch Casey too. Mims ended up having a good game because nobody really talked about it.
Nobody did.
Like I said, our coach was so concerned with Ray more. Yeah.
Gate was solid.
They had a good team.
They did.
They had a good team.
They did. We go back and forth all the time with, between their 84 and 83 team. I liked the 84 team because I felt like everybody's roles was defined. The guys on that squad liked their 83 team better. I liked the 84 team because I just felt like everybody was in their role or whatever. When I asked Boo always say he liked the 83 team because they had more firepower, because Matty gonna give you 18 to 22.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think they had a lot of fire, but Mark took most of the shots.
Yeah, he did. But when you really look at their team though across the board, they was really solid, man. They was that 83 team. The 83 team was way more solid than I was willing to give them credit for initially because you had Portis in the middle, you had Chuck Wallace as his backup. You had
Lee McCoy at the guard.
Yep, you had Lee.
Ray should have been playing.
They played together. They started. They actually slid. They actually slid Boo to the small forward. So
Ray
it was
could play off the ball.
Lee, Boo, Mark Madison, Portis, Chuck Wallace as a backup, Frankie Patterson as a backup, Tim Bray as a backup. This is 83. Eric Hudson as a backup. They had them.
Now you name those.
They really had a mob over there, man. They really did. They really had a mob over there. I was like, man, I really had to break down that squad. I was like, I do like the 84 team, but 83 did have a lot. They had a lot. Yeah, but once again, that 83 in the city was just.
Yeah,
we ain't really even
that was
touch
the best.
on
That was the best. I thought that was the best year because I got a chance to see it.
Right.
I wasn't part of it. I got a chance to see it, and it was tough every game. Like every Tuesday, Friday, it was like, man, you couldn't play around on Tuesday, Friday in school. You gotta be focused.
Exactly.
Right.
We didn't really even touch on Independence, and at 83 Independence, you had
EJ.
You had Brett and Vic. You had the shooter John Ogden. You had EJ and Darren Martin cleaning up that glass. You know what I'm saying? They 83 team was a problem. That team
of course,
was
back then,
a problem.
You loved playing there because they had that pro style court
right.
back then.
Yeah.
That was unheard of back then. You had the scoreboard and the center and everything.
Exactly.
So it was. I loved playing there because the school was nice back then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we get to play there. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You just be looking up at the score like,
crazy.
Yep.
Oh, good.
But I just think that 83 was special. You had Mifflin had a lot. Beechcroft to me was the best team. Linden had a lot. Northland had a lot. Matter of fact, Northland was ranked number 1 in the state at some point in 83. About midway through.
Was it 83 or 82?
82 they was.
82
they held it for a little period of time.
Right.
83 they was ranked number 1.
But Tatum was gone to 83, right? But he was there in 82.
Benito Caldwell. Yep.
Yeah, he was another big guard too.
Yep.
I don't know, Benito Caldwell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They was ranked number 1 for about a week. It was about like right at the turn of the second semester, and then I think they ended up losing about 2 or 3 in a row or whatever.
Okay.
But, yep. It's man, it was special. It was special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Especially like, I can't speak for everybody, but playing at Linden was something. You have to be there to experience it.
Yeah,
I got a chance to play with a McDonald's All-American football player, McDonald's All-American basketball player, and I got to play with my brother for 2 years.
Right.
So that was something you can't replace.
Can't beat that. Right.
And
exactly.
then we won a lot.
And we won.
I think we lost like maybe 11 games.
So where'd y'all lose at? Y'all in the state?
The championship, Youngstown ran.
Was it close?
Yeah, we lost by 3. We always tease Chris because Chris shot like 80% from the free throw line all year, and he was maybe like 2 for 7, 2
had
for
a bad
8.
day at the line.
He just couldn't hit them
Mentally. Yeah.
But it was And I think too, the game was so early. The game was like
It was early, like
it was
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock in the morning.
Yep. It
And
was
we
early
had
game.
just like the other games, we kind of breezed through. So I think part of it was we definitely took it serious, but just getting up that early because I think we had to be there like 8:30 or something crazy like that. And then of course they came out. They had all brothers too. So we had the teams
Floyd
we played.
Showers.
Floyd Showers. And then what's the one
Youngstown
guy's
Rand.
name that
Did
had
your
the-
boy play for them, Jeff Gillum? Did he play for Rand? Youngstown?
No.
No?
not-
Okay.
If
okay.
he did
Nah,
not.
Okay.
not
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. It's somebody else.
But they, Mike Lyles, that was the kid. That was the first time I experienced Tourette syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just thought, he had it bad, but he
Yeah.
could play. But I just remember at the free throw line, he like, what's wrong with this cat? He trying to get in my head. So I was kind of, so I started barking back, at
Right.
him, but not knowing anything
That
about
he-
Tourette
that he was
syndrome.
already had an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he did his thing. I mean, we should have won. But they had a real good team, and that Floyd Showers, he was.
I remember that.
They were solid. They were solid. They were solid. So let me ask you this: Which team you like? Which team do you like the best as far as talent wise? Y'all 84 team or 85 team?
Whew. I would have to say 84.
I like that 84 team.
I would like to say.
That
Well, I mean, 85. We were good, but you got to remember everybody on the 84 team was on the 85 team, except for Pat. Because 84, it was a lot.
I like
Then-
I like the fact that y'all had a lot of firepower, but I felt like, man, y'all had a lot of stuff on that wing, man.
Yes.
Y'all had defenders out there,
Yes.
duh. You had your brother out there,
We had Doc
and then
Watson
you had
for a minute,
you
yeah.
had his ditto, Doc Watson. Doc did the
Right,
same thing that
right.
Fonz did. I felt like Doc was a little better scorer than Fonz or whatever, but they did the same exact things or whatever. So
But we go
if
back
you
to
got rid
83.
of Doc, then you had. I mean, if you got rid of Fonz, you had to deal with Doc.
But you go to 83. 83 was better than both teams.
Yeah, yeah.
83 was.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
Oh my God.
So that's the one I saw.
Man, 83 was just like I said, and I can't stress enough how good Daryl Stith was.
Right.
He was so
Yeah.
far ahead of his time, and he would never get mad. He knew he could have started for
Right.
anybody, but he would play hard. I mean, you saw the layup lines. I mean, people would come because his layup line drills were legendary, and he'd just be. I mean, he'd be drenched with sweat after that.
Listen, now I do remember Durrell playing because we played y'all the first game of the year, our sophomore year. Durrell played in that game. Like Durrell got minutes.
He would play a lot.
He actually got a lot of minutes at that time, but at the end of the year, come tournament time, he wasn't playing that much.
Because the worst part is our coach. He was a big Bobby Knight fan, so he wanted to control everybody. Like I said, Stiff was way ahead of his time, and he would always tell Stiff, "Don't go get off him. Don't go get off him."
Yeah.
Stiff did. He'd get out there and he'd play.
Right.
And Stiff, like I said, Stiff was he would play hard because I don't know if he thought like this might be I'm only gonna get 10 minutes, but I'm gonna go out here and give him all. And Stiff would just ball out.
Right.
And he never changed his attitude. He was whether he started or whether he came off the bench, he played hard all the time. But just those practices, man, that's what you said earlier. I was sitting back and like, man, I'm not ready for this.
Right.
Like
At the end,
him
when,
and Lamar and Monty, I was like,
Yeah,
then
at
Reg too.
the end, when Durrell wasn't playing much or whatever, Raj was the one who told me, he said, watch this cat right here in warm up. He said, man, he out there doing everything or whatever. He said, and then he don't play or whatever. And I was like, man, Steph was playing. And he's like, Will, he don't play much anymore. He said, but in warm up, he doing 360s, pocketing it, dropping it in.
It was kind of like, you know how Jake Malloy did over. It wasn't as bad as that, but it was kind of like he didn't want you
'cause I
taking
heard-
the ball
I heard
behind your
terrible
back.
stories.
He didn't want you to put it between your legs. That was part
And
of
you had to use the glass. Pronate over
that's
there.
why I said we weren't
Right.
that bad.
Yeah.
But Steph was all, that was part of his game, between the legs, behind the back, all that stuff. He was, like I said, he was and one before and one was theirs.
All right, man. So look, this is what we're gonna do, because every show of ours we got to do two. So we got to invite y'all two back, because bro, we can be here.
Right,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? We be here 3
Exactly.
hours. Right, and that's what we did with AT and who was on that show? AT and Scott.
Tell Whit to bring his statistician with him.
So Whit is
led
already.
the
He
city.
don't even want to watch these.
Whit led the city in assists for 19 years.
Right.
Everybody else. I remember I was 4th in assists, and Derek Fields was like 3rd, and some white cat was 2nd. And we had like 30. This is through like 6 or 7 games. We had like 37 assists. we'd had like 79.
Right.
He had doubled everybody else. I was like, come on.
Right.
And even when we played, because we used to all look at the stats the next day.
Yeah.
And because our coach worked for the Dispatch, we were in the paper all the time. When you look at that, Whitlow had 19 and 7. Like, come on.
Yeah, they gave me 19 against Independence, and we didn't even have the field goals to match.
For real, yeah. Well, I used to peruse the sections, so it was a lot of stuff that was in question. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of stuff that was in question.
Statisticians, because I had playing with Reg, I had a lot of assists.
Right.
So I would tell Whit, I said, man, I think your statistician is giving my assist
Right,
to you. You
right.
score a bucket and you. I said,
Right.
you got 18, 19.
Right.
I said, come on, man.
Now I will say this in Whit's defense. I will say this: we played East over Christmas break our senior year, and they ended up beating us 73-71, whatever. They had Whit down for 12 assists that night. Whit had 12 assists that night. Like it was official.
Oh, yeah.
It was official. Like and
was a problem,
and
man.
they had a play.
I hated playing against Whit because he
give it to you all the
He
time.
ain't gonna let you do your set. You ain't gonna run your set the way you want to run it. The timing gonna be off.
Right.
Him and PJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, I didn't play against PJ. Where was he at? Hartley?
St. Charles.
St. Charles.
See, we didn't
He
play
was
St.
a
Charles.
real
Oh,
problem
absolutely.
Right.
because he picked you up full.
Well, I played
legit full.
Right.
He's gonna turn you 5 times
Right.
before half.
I played against him at the summer league at the boys club.
Okay.
He played 3 or
Yeah.
4, but I never played against him in high school. But he was a problem then too.
Yeah.
And I think the Broad Street League, I forgot what team he played in too.
Yeah, he played with us, Broad
we-
Street Presbyterian, yeah.
Right.
On the carpet.
On the carpet.
He used to do the bounce pass. He'd be like, but hey, we're gonna stop right there because we got more to come. We're gonna pick it back up with these guys in about a couple weeks, session 2 with Tony and Will. Peace out.